Hey everybody, it's Mr. Kamer coming at you live from 211, the best room in the building, and it is good to be back. I'm sick of sitting in that basement making these tutorials for you guys without being around my classroom and everyone else in the building. So again, thank you guys so much for coming in on Thursday and Friday. Thanks for all your hard work both virtually and of course coming back in the building. And always, please let me know what I could do to help you. Today is a tutorial on two-step equations. Two-step equations is essentially just one-step equations that we've already learned, but just adding an additional step. Now, again, you don't need to worry because you already know the trick to this. And I'm going to show you guys a quick reminder on how to do so. I'm looking at the worksheet that we're going to be completing for this upcoming week, and it is the practice one. So let's say two-step equations practice. I'm going to start with number one. Number one, our equation is this: b plus 5 equals -1. So if you have a look at this, we have a whole lot of stuff going on here. The best way to approach these, again, is by applying what you've already learned. First things first, I see that there's a negative sign here. I always want to make sure I add a 1. You guys know that. If I add a 1 here, it becomes a whole new problem. So -1, and then in parentheses I have v plus 5 equals -1. Now, since you've already learned distributive property and all the things beforehand, I know that as soon as I see my parentheses, I need to draw my arrows. So I'm going to draw it, the 1, to the respective numbers here. That tells me I need to multiply. So let's multiply. -1 times v would be -1v. -1v. Okay? Our next arrow is -1 following over to 5. -1 times 5 will be a -5. Now, all I did in that step, which is our first step, would to be working out of this parentheses. So again, we use the distributive property that you guys have already learned, people, to apply that into our math now. So I have -1v minus 5. I'm just going to bring these down so that I have my equation equals -1. Now, if I have a look here, I have an equation. First thing I need to do, and here is your first step, is to combine like terms, okay? First two-step equations, the first thing that you're going to do is combine like terms. Now, the two terms that are alike here are -5 and -1. I cannot use this 1v over here because it has a v. It has our variable. So our first step, let's get rid of the two like terms by bringing it across the equal sign. When I bring it across the equal sign, I always change the sign. Imagine as if the equal sign is a tunnel. In order for me to send -5 through this tunnel, I need to change it to a +5. Notice how I keep it nice and formatted so that all the numbers align and that all my math is organized. Now, when I see I still have this 1v over here, we could bring that down, -1v. Now, I have -5 plus 5. That is 0. So we could actually cross those out and not worry about them. Then we're left with the last bit. Our equal sign comes down, and it's -1 plus 5. And that would be -4. Oh, I'm sorry, +4. Sorry about that. But in this case here, 4. Okay? -1 plus 5 would be +4. Now I'm left with a one-step equation, and you guys know how to solve this. First question I'm going to ask myself is, am I adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing my variable? In this case, with the -1 next to a v, my variable is being multiplied. So that means I need to do the opposite, which therefore I'm going to divide. -1, -1. All right. -1 divided by -1 is +1, or v. Okay, so you could bring the v down, equals, and then 4 divided by a -1 would be a -4. That is how you do a two-step equation. Again, it's not so hard when you apply what you've previously learned to what we're doing now. I'm going to show you another example, and that would be number 2. For number 2, our equation is -2 minus 3n equals a -8. Okay, for this one, first thing I'm going to do is combine like terms. Okay, the two numbers that are alike are -2 and -8. And that is because -3n has an n. Therefore, I cannot combine those with these two numbers. Now, in order for me to do that, I need to take 2, because I don't want to move the number by the equal sign. We want to leave that there. Let's take the 2 over and bring it to the 8 by adding 2 plus 2. Okay? Now, as we look at our problem, we can cross these out because that equals 0. And now we're left with a -3n equals, and then our math. So a -8 plus 2 would be a -6. Oh, and now we have our one-step equation. The next question I'm going to ask myself is simple. Is my variable being added, subtracted, multiplied, or divided? In this case, again, like the one over here, when you have a number next to a letter, it's going to be multiplied. So therefore, we have to divide to solve for our variable. I'm going to divide -3, -3. Okay. I could cross these ones out, and I could bring my n down, equals. Now I have -6 divided by -3. That equals a +2. Our math is done, and that's the second problem. Okay. Again, don't worry, take it slow. I have 2 more for you, and then I'm going to let you go. Number 4. The reason why I'm doing 4, again, dragging these on, I hope you could skip through it, is because I want to show you the different formats that you're going to see, especially on your worksheets. For number 4, you're going to see a problem like this. And I'm going to actually move this one out of the way here. Sorry about that. The camera's a little bit weird. All right, 2 plus v over 3 equals +4. Here's our next problem. Now, again, don't fret. Let's check it out. The first thing we're going to do is combine like terms. Duh. So the two numbers that I can combine here are 2 and 4. I can't combine 3 because the v is attached to it, and therefore it's not like the others. With this 2, I'm going to bring it over to the 4 because I don't want to change this number over here in the equal sign. And I'm going to make that, if it's +2, I'm going to make it a -2. Okay? And I'm going to make sure that I do it on both sides of the equation. Now, 2 minus 2 is 0, so we could cross these out. Then we're stuck with these two. V over 3 equals, and then we have to do our math on this side. 4 minus 2 is 2. And now we have our one-step equation. Now, the two numbers that I can combine that are left are 3 and 2. the first thing I ask myself is my variable v being added, subtracted, multiplied, or divided? Well, in this case, if it's in a fraction form, it's being divided. Therefore, I need to multiply. So I'm going to multiply 3 times 2. 3 times 2, v equals 6. That's all there is to it. Last but not least, number 15. This one is negative 3k minus 5 equals negative 14. All right. So as I look at this one, it's a little different, but I know it's the same rules that apply. What two numbers can I combine? I'm going to combine negative 5 and negative 14 because negative 3 has a k, and these two are alike. In order for me to combine these two, and going over the equal sign, I need to change my sign. Just like that. So, as we're doing the opposite as everything else, I could cross these out because that equals 0. I'm going to bring this one down, minus 3k equals, and now I'm left with my math. Negative 14 plus 5 would be it'd be 9. It would be negative 9. Okay, make sure you watch your signs, people. Now, as I look at my math, I can see I have a one-step equation. Now, I'm going to ask myself, is my variable being added, subtracted, multiplied, or divided? In this case, it's being multiplied. So therefore, I need to divide negative 3. In this case, when you're breaking it down, keep the signs, okay? The only time you'd have to change your sign is by doing the opposite function to solve for your equation. And this is where this falls in. If it's a negative, I change it to a positive, and vice versa. Down here, I'm going to keep these negatives here and do my math. So 3 and 3 I could cross out, bring the k down, equals, okay? And if k is being multiplied, I need to divide negative 3. In total, when I do my math, I will have k equals a positive 3. That's my answer. Now, when you guys come back on Thursday and Friday, we're going to go over this stuff. But more importantly, we're going to review some of that older stuff that we may have forgotten over the last couple of weeks so that we are prepared for a test coming up soon. And you will be ready, I guarantee it. Until then, keep on doing your best work and let me know what else I could do to help you. I wish you a great week coming up, and I hope to see you all here on Thursday and Friday. And I hope that, hey, we could get back to business as usual. Have a great day. Bye-bye.